So this is task 2.2, just making an account class and a test account class. And so I've set up my account class like this. You've got the balance and name instant variables, the name assessor method, and the methods for account, deposit, withdrawal, and print. In the test account, I've set up a test for each one of these. So basically it just goes through, first makes a constructor, tests it, then it makes a performs the withdraw function with a value of 10, and then the deposit function with a value of 20, and then it performs the name assessor method just to test if it all works. So I'll start now. So we can see the constructor here. We start at 100, we withdraw 10, we deposit 20. And each one of these is using the print method, by the way, in order to display this. Yeah, it's set for this. And it returns the name Ashley Dowie for our test. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for that program, but I believe I'm meant to discuss how classes are used to define objects. Well, an object is basically a instance of a class. It's kind of like a recipe, say. Say you had a cake recipe, that's kind of like the class. And then you have the cake, that's kind of like the object. So, you know, a cake might have certain attributes to it. Not all cakes might have them, even if the class was, say, carrot cake. One cake might be burnt, one might be fresh, one might be moldy, for example. So like, say you for example, say we had a cake, the different things we could show in the fields of the cake. You know, could have like an enum, burnt, sweet, undercooked. What else could you have? They could be different sizes. You could have a decimal displaying like the weight of the cake. You know, they're not all going to be same, even if they are all like carrot cakes, which would be like their class, if that makes sense. Yeah, so basically fields contain data, so kind of like state. So like me, for example, I'm a human. Say like you had a class that was called like, I don't know, entity, or like, I don't know, living thing. It could be a human, it could be a dog. You could have its weight, and then say you actually wanted to implement some sort of action or functionality for that object, that living thing. You would have methods. So say like move. The object might have a position. Then you perform a move function. So the attribute is position. You perform the move function, and then the position changes, maybe interacting with other sort of like fields. Like maybe you could have weight, which affects how quickly something might move. As for properties, basically a property is a method, but it's more to do with accessing and then changing the value of a particular field. So basically, why would you want to use a property? Good example would be that you're asking the user to input their age, and then they put in like the letter G. Well, pretty handy way to do that would be in the sort of like set property. You would have input validation in order to ensure that they're actually putting in what's required. Say you had a class that was expecting you wrote your program, and somewhere in the program there's I don't know, an integer, and then later on you decided you needed more precision. So then later on that field sort of becomes a decimal, but you could make it not necessarily break your program if you had a property which maybe it could be overloaded, and it could accept both the decimal and the integer, and it could convert the integer if it receives one appropriately to a decimal, for example. Yeah, so that's pretty much my take on it. Yeah, I think I've answered these two pretty much in everything I've said. I'm trying to keep these videos shorter, so I might just leave that for now. Thanks.